My first time doing a produced stream. Oh, I adore Ollie also. You're starting in Genoa. Yes. Yours is not. Well, you know Crystal's character, Diana DeJust. Oh. Welcome everybody, we're getting ready. I don't know why you can hear me on stream, but yeah, that's what happens when you're producing a stream for the first time. Yeah? Really? They can hear me? Okay, so I got one more inlay to do, and then we will be starting this Dark Ages stream. Apologies for the technical difficulties, everyone. This is my first crazy attempt at producing a stream. Alright, we're good to go. The curtain is about to be raised on this Dark Ages game. Ready? More live. 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to the Gehenna Gaming V5 Dark Ages. I don't want to call it a one-shot anymore because it's technically an anthology. This is Dark Ages, and I've kind of named this whole chronicle Shades of Grey. With me, we have Crystal Mazur. Crystal, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Crystal Mazur. I am a freelance writer, game developer, and I will be playing Diana de Justice, a Toreador.
Very good. Mr. Marvello, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, I am Joe, better known as DJ Toreador or Nolofanger on Twitter. I am a storyteller for my own homebrew Vampire Masquerade game, Montgomery by Night, and I am playing Baldric, the Malkavian.
Awesome. Mr. Mark, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Q. Anderson, also known as Marcosius. I am the co-founder and VP of marketing for Gehenna Gaming. I'm going to steal the spotlight for just 1 second to give a very, very special thank you to the Bodhana Group for throwing SAFeCon 2020. This is our very final actual play session for this entire convention. And essentially, it's just the last bit of the con. This has been so fun. We've raised quite a lot of money for using Tabletop RPG, Tabletop Gaming as a therapeutic tool for social and mental health professionals. And there's been a lot of amazing panels, which are all going to be available on the Bodhana Group's YouTube page. So make sure you subscribe to that so that when they do start releasing all that content, you can check it out. And feel free to either follow or subscribe us because we're going to be continuing to do this kind of cool stuff. We have similar actual plays pretty much every Saturday, if not every other Saturday, that we're calling Saturday Night One-Shots. But ultimately, I am excited to play this Dark Ages V5 conversion. I will be playing the role of Father Bastille.
Awesome. And yes, thank you for plugging our wonderful convention here, which we've raised a crazy amount of money for the Bodhana Group and this wonderful charity.
Do you have a number for that?
I think it's over $3,000 now.
It is. Let me look right now.
It's awesome.
I will
the last stream, it was at 29 something. So
it is okay. So right now it is $2,927.69. We are so close to $3,000, but I feel like that we could probably get that number up much higher. If we could get this close to maybe 4,000, that would be amazing. And obviously, every penny that you're donating goes right to using tabletop therapy for mental health professionals, and pretty much everything that the Bodhana Group does. So thank you to everyone who's bought tickets, who's bought badges, and who's donated so far. But if you haven't yet, now is your final chance to do so. So if you're enjoying what you're watching, instead of throwing a coin to your Witcher, throw a coin to tabletop therapy.
good enough for me. With us also tonight, why don't you please introduce yourself, Aldrich Keats.
I'm Rosie. You might know me as Regular Size Mom if you hang out in the Gehenna Gaming Discord or the Monday Night Monster Hearts chat. I am playing a Bruja named Aldrich Keats tonight, a sea captain. So see how that goes.
Awesome. Kayla, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, speaking of Monday Night Monster Hearts, I'm Kay. I play in Monday Night Monster Hearts as Corey the Infernal here on GG. And tonight I will be playing Grigori Wybert, a Banu Hakim.
Awesome.
I love that mask so much.
You look like Zmeets.
Hey, listen, it's just a great mask.
Did I get everybody, or did I miss Baldric?
No, you got Baldric.
Okay, cool. It's my first time doing production.
It's okay.
So
You're so nervous, but that's okay.
well, I'm never nervous to run games. I'm nervous doing the Twitch thing. So this is.
You got this.
Rick, you can do it.
Of course we can
Do it, Rick.
So we begin our session in the country that Diana and Father Bastille have been working on for quite a long time. It's almost 190 years since our last session. Some time has passed. Some things have changed. Mostly for the better. The last session we had during Onyx Path Virtual Gaming Convention, Diana, Father Bastille, and Susanoo, the Tremere as well. They had put their feelers out and talked to a lot of other delegates who were coming together as Genoa was becoming a city merchant republic for the first time. And by some twist of fate, they managed not to piss off anyone and make any number of enemies. They actually navigated the political waters quite well and still wound up in the same kind of middle place they did before. I'm having a thing that's saying my Zoom meeting will end in 10 minutes. Do I need to log in as Ian or something?
Yep. Okay, so this happens, and we're not going to let technology get in our way. If we get kicked out of Zoom, keep streaming, and we will put the BRB. If you have a technical difficulty sign, throw that bad boy up, and we will realign and restart. I don't want anybody in chat to leave because this is our final actual play. And I think that they're going to be enjoying the hell out of this, even maybe especially if there's technical difficulties. But if you get kicked out, log in as in the other one, and we'll be right as rain, as they say.
Yeah, actually, I will see if I can just upgrade to Pro right now and skip all of that bullshit.
I like your style, man.
Roll with it.
I ship it.
Flip it, smack it, rub it down. Oh no!
Just blow. That's how we fix things, right? Just blow into it.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?
You gotta
more.
take the cartridge out and blow into
Blow
it.
in
Yeah,
it.
you gotta. Yeah.
God, I'm old. God.
So I was that nerd that actually used Q-tips and my sister's acetone to get her nail polish off. To like, if you kind of rub it on the inside of the cartridge.
My brother did that too.
Yeah,
You were that nerd.
I really was.
You do not just blow in it like everybody else. You had to
No.
meticulous.
Yeah, meticulously.
That's what makes him so good at what he does. And
That does.
you know, wonderful materials for GG. Ooh.
Oh, that's the nice plug. Can you like bring that up to the camera a little bit more? So this is a glass that was created by Rusted Icon Designs, and they made a very special Gehenna Gaming glass. I have yet to receive mine, and that is a beautiful
It
color.
hasn't come in the mail yet?
No, well, I mean, that's a nice way of me saying I haven't ordered it yet.
I have both versions, and they are both lovely. There's this one, and there is one that is just a larger skull,
Yes,
and they are delightful.
so good, and it's a nice, it's like a nice red, thick.
It's
glass.
sturdy. It's got like a beautiful red that has like perfect. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, it's great.
Like if I could get glasses in these tones, like that would be cool.
Well, the great part about that glass is that there are times where I like to hold a glass of something while I'm playing Vampire, whether it be wine or grape juice. But sometimes I don't want to drink wine or grape juice. But with that cup, you can put water in that bad boy, and it's still blood.
Yeah, no, this is blood.
It's always blood.
It's always blood.
Rick, your sign in, sign out is in front of your screen.
You're doing amazing. You're awesome.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about this Dark Ages conversion. This first idea was the very first inception of this idea. I think was probably in your head before PAX Unplugged, pre-apocalypse last year.
Yeah.
But we went to PAX Unplugged, and we were talking a lot about the idea of converting Dark Ages with V5 to try to make it work. A couple of people started kind of talking about it. I think Mike from Darker Days Radio actually kind of ran a let's just try to figure this out and see if it works kind of thing. But every con that we've been doing this year, every digital con that we've been doing, Rick has been running a V5 conversion. So this is like tradition. Every convention we will have and have been having a V5 Dark Ages, and so far they have been it's been pretty fun, and there's a lot of people that are starting to knock on Nick's door and say, hey, listen, you got to release this stuff because we want to be able to know how you do it.
Wait, why are they knocking on Nick's door if it's Rick?
I was just wondering.
Did I say Nick or did I say Rick?
You said Nick. I was like, does Nick hold the secret copy? Like, is it safely kept with Nick? Is he like the director?
Nick's so in the front of my brain because I think I've been in like 5 games with him this weekend.
To be fair, Nick is awesome. So
He is awesome.
He is.
Not to be.
They're like, hey, Nick, tell Rick that we're interested.
He's my retainer.
Your retainer. The GG retainer.
Your ghoul?
Yes.
Oh.
I go to the PAX Unplugged.
Yes.
Nick would be a great ghoul.
He would be a great ghoul.
He would be a fantastic ghoul. That's the type of ghoul that you would say, you know what, buddy? Come here. Let's embrace you. Come in for an embrace. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
You earned it.
You earned it. You certainly earned it. All the work Nick does. Hands up for Nick.
Absolutely. But if you represent Onyx Path, or Modifius, or Paradox, or World of Darkness, I mean, you know where to find us. Dark
Rick,
Ages VPAP conversion.
I mean, I'm high. I don't really represent, but I've worked with
Thanks, Crystal.
Onyx Path and Modifius.
Okay, we're all set. I just upgraded, so we're good to go. Crisis averted.
I was right, Rick. I was telling you. I was like, "Is this 40 minutes here?"
No. So,
Because I was worried.
back to Dark Ages
Cover,
now.
man.
So, thank you for the kind words about my Dark Ages games, because I love Dark Ages so much. And this might continue past this. We've been talking to people. So, I'll be talking to the rest of people, too.
All right.
So, anyway, it is now the year 1197. And as I mentioned, Genoa has expanded. It's been very successful. And you're allying with the Byzantine states through Diana de Just's contact, the Bruja Idris. Worked out well. You've developed a embassy in Constantinople. You have trading routes in the Black Sea. Things are going well. Father Bastille has a lot of fingers and a lot of pies. He's had a lot of things going on. And I've mentioned some things that your characters have had going on in your lives before we begin, so you have a good sense of who you are and what brought you to these nights. But we begin with Diana receiving a letter in the mail from Constantinople saying that Gabrielle of Genoa, as they call her, the leader in the embassy, has been killed. And only an hour after you receive that letter, another letter comes. It's from an Ashira member in Constantinople, who requests that Diana come to the embassy at once for a matter of great importance. And we begin with Diana and Father Bastille in the same meeting room as we begin our tale.
Diana, it's a pleasure as always.
I wish I could feel the same right now.
Yes, well, many of us wish that we could feel. Perhaps it's better that we don't.
Sure, we'll go with that. And she's gonna take a throwing knife from her side and just sink it into like the wood on the wall. She is very visibly upset.
Now, Diana. There's no need for any baby fits. Out with it. Come on. I'm a father. Confess. What bothers you?
Oh, Father, I'm going to commit murder. A contact of mine who was supposed to be reaching out to me has been killed in Constantinople.
Now that is unfortunate, isn't it?
Unfortunately, I think that it leads to some deeper issues that are going on there.
There does seem to be a lot going on in Constantinople that needs our attention. The thread between our city and theirs is tumultuous at best.
I don't think it has anything to do with the leadership.
Oh no, quite the opposite.
I have a feeling that there's a dragon involved.
Well, you know what they say, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Agreed.
They do have their uses, as abrasive as they may be.
Yeah, but you got to keep that leash really tight. And if they are involved the way I think they are, they don't have a leash currently.
Now, I do believe that there are some very talented leather workers in this city. Perhaps we should make our own leash.
I agree. We might have to take a trip, Father.
A pilgrimage.
Pilgrimage to go dragon hunting.
I should bring my best armor. Or at least my best men.
Suit what you will. I will be also bringing my best. Because I don't like it when people mess with my things.
I should grab your knife. You might have use for it later.
Yep. I definitely will be. She'll walk over and easily pull it out.
As this is happening, a messenger from Prince Enrico collects Baldric and Grigory, each from your perspective locations within the city. So, come on, quickly! The prince has need of you.
Oh, yes, if the prince has need, then I shall come. And Gregory will sort of nod to those working about in the small sort of shop he has set up here, little apothecary, to keep things aroused as he goes.
We have one more to pick up, your friend Baldric.
Oh, Baldric. It's been a mite. It'll be good to see him.
Very good. He proceeds to Baldric's location with Gregory in tow, knocks on Baldric's door. Baldric!
Just a moment. What is the rush?
Well, they don't privy tell me what some of them, the needs for the Russian are. They just send me to do the Russian. Prince Enrique has sent me to collect you and your friend here. Apparently something has happened and they have need of your particular gifts.
Ah, I see. I am ready now. Let's go. Let's go.
Very good. And he leads you by torchlight to where Diana and Father Bastille have a meeting.
As we make the walk, I give a curt nod to Baldric.
Yes, child.
So, as they enter, Diana just acknowledges them briefly. How much interaction has she had with the two of them?
Diana knows Gregory pretty well.
Oh, okay.
As
yes.
you are. Well, I think I've mentioned that to you in the past.
Yep.
But this might be your first time meeting Baldric. You might have seen Baldric hanging around with Gregory. They've kind of formed a quick friendship. They're both new to the domain. They've only been in Genoa for under a year. But you quickly became acquainted with Gregory for reasons.
So, yes. So Gregory would notice that Diana is very clearly agitated.
I think he would, straighten his stance a little. Lady Diana, it's a pleasure as always to be in your presence.
Well, I am grateful to see you. Right now, pleasure is not something that I'm feeling.
I can fix that. And he reaches into a pocket and pulls out a small satchel where there's just this fine little powder that has hints of lavender and rose, clementine undertones, and holds it out.
She'd take it. She's Toreador, why not?
Yeah.
What do I do with this?
It's a scent sense to bring about focus and calming, so you can tunnel what you are feeling into what is most advantageous to you.
Where did you get that?
I make it. You know that, Baldric. I make all bits and bobs and things like that in my apothecary.
I will need one at some point before the night is young.
Oh, of course. I always have gifts for friends.
Thank you.
I find prayer is often more effective than flowers.
I think they can work one and the same together and enhance both experience. Tunneling your mind could allow one to greatly tunnel their intention and connection to God.
Do you?
Oh, of course.
And how often do you pray, I mean?
Many times a day do I pray at the altar.
Pray upon what, Father?
And which altar?
The altar of true belief.
Baldric, I pray to the one true existence that is ours.
Do you now?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Baldric, I would say that it would help all of us. Any of the chosen ones.
Perhaps.
What say you about flowers, Baldric?
I think flowers are nice when they're fresh, when you pluck them at just the right time before they expire.
I find the most interesting flowers are the most poisonous or thorny.
Thorns are good. They work well. They draw blood.
That is true.
Be mindful. He's just going to take out this little crystal ball he has.
What kind of thorns or flowers do you work with, Baldric? If I may be so bold.
Roses. And a very rare flower that only blooms at night. I forget its name. Do you know its name, Gregory?
Of course. It's the Genosian red ruby, I believe, is the local term. It's got an
Yes.
exquisite color, only blooms at night, and it's one of the deepest reds I've seen.
Yes. Similar to blood. The petals are beautiful and they are visually provoking. Don't you agree, Father?
I myself am drawn to darkness like any other.
Good. Then you will like these flowers. Gregory, I think you should bring the Father these flowers at an undisclosed time to make his prayer work better.
I think mutual agreements of such can, of course, be arranged.
Yeah.
Now. There's no need for threats. We're guests.
No
Lady
threat.
Justice.
There's no threats, only gifting.
Yes, only gifts. No threats here.
It's the threat of gifts that Father Bastille fears most.
And what is that, my child? What do you fear?
The threat of receiving a gift.
Ah, but is not kindness and generosity the gift God gives us to give to others?
Yes, virtue.
I am a man of the cloth. I cannot receive gifts so willingly.
Oh, but they're not
You understand,
gifts for
I must-
you. They're gifts for you to convey properly in his name.
And perhaps I can convey those gifts in kind. Should I find such gifts delightful?
All in his name, of course.
Yes, all in his name. A blessing to this day and this meeting, to the glorious Lady Justice and our two friends. I offer blessings unto you and blessings unto the night.
Thank you, child.
Bless you, Father.
And at that, there's a knock on the door.
If no one's going to, I'll open the door. And he's going to saunter over to the door and open it.
And you see the form of Prince Enrique with his longer, dark hair and a fine merchant's robe with a pleasant smile on his face. He wasn't expecting Baldric, but you could tell that he's not upset to see those who have gathered here.
Baldric will bow. Your Majesty, welcome.
Baldric, it is good to see you here tonight.
I agree. It's always good to see me at any night.
Well, I do have some news I came to deliver to Father Bastille and to Diana, but you and Gregory, I am glad my servant was able to pull you in, as this is something I believe will concern you as well.
Come in. No stating at the...
If you say so, I will enter. And he smiles. He knows you're being polite. He's not going to, He enters. He closes the door. My friends, I am very grateful that you have come together. I did hear the news of our embassy worker. I received a letter. I'm not sure, Diana, if you have heard about this quite yet.
She just nods to the hole that's in the wood in the wall from where her knife was.
Oh, I see.
Yes, we've heard.
Yes. So I was going to say perhaps we should head to Constantinople to see what exactly has happened, but it appears our transportation issues in that regard have been made for us. You see, a ship has just arrived from the city with a guest who is very interested in speaking with you, Diana.
Oh? Who is that guest?
Her name was Natalia. My resources tell me she is a Bruja, the child of... his name escapes me, buddy. Yes. She's not the child of Idris, but someone higher than Idris.
Gotcha.
She looks like a politician. My interest in Genoa, I keep a tight ship here. The embassy was all you're doing. This is all your good work. And I know that this is a matter you would like to probably take care of yourself.
If you allow me the leave to do so, yes.
Of course. These are your good works that you have brought into our republic.
And
You have...
I will meet with her.
Very good. You have whatever you need from me to accomplish whatever you'd like to do in the name of our city-state.
I appreciate your generosity, sir.
May I say, Prince Enrique, it is a wonderful city-state. It's stunning. You must do such excellent work to keep it as is.
Well, I influenced the mortals to do so. You don't see me swinging a helmet during the day.
But I
wise
do
appreciate your lovely comments.
Well, a wise workman only oversees.
I suppose. But I'm glad to hear that you have been enjoying your stay in our home here, Gregory.
Oh, yes. It's been delightful.
Very good. Father Bastille, good to see you.
Yes, my prince, it's good to see you since last confession.
I take it you'll be on this trip as well, considering you have plenty of contacts in that city.
I am forever in your debt. So if you need me there, I will be there by the grace of God.
That is up to her. This is her mission.
I would like your counsel there, Father.
Of course. Of course. It's consider it a favor to my prince.
Yes, Baldric.
Now, out of character, how are we standing in the room?
I imagine that you and Gregory are closest to the door, whereas Diana was likely behind her desk as she had read the letter. She's likely standing up because she did throw a knife. Father Bastille is probably lurking as far away from the actual light as possible.
I'm kind of wandering around.
Pacing like a trapped cat.
Linking.
Yeah. Behind people, sometimes purposefully, sometimes accidental.
Yeah, I imagine Gregory, if you step to slink near him, keeps a keen eye on you, but has positioned himself a little further back so he's near enough to Diana should ever any need be of her.
Okay. Carry on.
So that is it for me. I will leave you to it. Apparently they are looking to unload some crates from the ship as well.
Do we know what is in this crate?
Not yet.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Do we, how do you feel about the type of crates that might be coming? Would you perhaps want a similar style or shape of crate?
Well, the only reason I mentioned it in the first place, we had, a seafaring merchant of the Republic, ships on dock, and they bring trade in all the time. They are staying on the dock. They have not moved. Normally by now, people would not be spending any bit of time leaving anything anywhere. They would be getting it to and fro where it needs to happen like clockwork. However, they are simply standing guard by these boxes as if they are waiting to load them back onto the ship in case Of whatever reason.
Perhaps they're being arranged to be picked up. Perhaps someone is, ordered something and, wishes to receive it themselves.
Perhaps.
Gregory, I have an idea.
Of course.
I only care if it is bodies of any kind, then you come see me. If it's whatever else, that's someone else's job.
Would you and anyone else who could handle the sneaking around go and check out what's in those crates?
If you
Or
desire.
if there's a pickup to see who is picking it up?
Of course, any desire you have, I'm happy to help with.
I trust your judgment and expertise on who you would take with you.
So, really quick, just looking at the father, the way he slinks in the night, do I know or have I met Father enough to know what clan he is of?
More than likely.
Yeah.
He would probably be very loud and proud about it.
Yeah,
As high clans tend to be.
Yeah.
Father Bastille is not. He doesn't necessarily mince words, and he is a man of the cloth, but he's also very garish. Lots of rings and jewelry and whatnot. So you would undoubtedly recognize the insignias of the Clan of Shadows.
Well, you seem apt to the darkness, Father. Perhaps
Well.
you will escort with me?
Well, one must know darkness to know light.
Oh, but of course.
I would be more than happy, more than willing. Should Lady Justice require me elsewhere, of course, I would eagerly go there as well.
Father, I do believe that your expertise in some of these matters might be a useful tool to Gregory. And I will take Baldric for my meeting, if Baldric will accompany me.
I'd be happy to, Indiana. No problem at all.
Yes. 2 favors then. One for my prince and one for the Lady Justice. 2 favors I give willingly to both of you. And my prince, I'm having a new rosary delivered to you. It should arrive by the time we go.
How thoughtful.
Yes, very. Isn't that right, Lady Justice? Thoughtful, I am.
You are extremely thoughtful, Father.
Thank you. Baldric?
I want to activate premonition.
Certainly. Give me a rouse check to do so.
Oh, that is blank. So I guess I go up longer.
You
Okay.
killed someone!
No time like a messy crit.
Did you?
No, not yet. It is resolved and all smokes. Okay. All right. I've got 2.
What is it that you were looking to... When you rouse the blood and you have the mental precognition to see what it is you wanted to see, what were you focusing on? Was it the rosary and the gift, or was it something with the ship and the boxes, or
Rosary.
the rosary? Father Bastille,
Yes.
was there anything in that gift that was a secret of any kind?
No secrets. Simply a reminder of my good faith. A keepsake that the prince could carry around that I could leverage later on.
Where did you get it?
Hmm?
Where did you get it?
I had it made. some of the finest jewelers of the city, putting together a very elaborate, very beautiful, very expensive rosary for prayer. There is nothing suspicious about the rosary at all. It's more of a social leverage so that I can ask the prince about it later, ask him how his prayers have been going, if the rosary has improved his ongoing prayers, and to remind him of my generosity and the favor, which I am doing for him now.
So Baldric, you kind of see that unfolding. You see that he had it carefully commissioned with the finest materials, because anything less would have likely been an offense. But you sense that there was more to the gift than just a simple gift from one person to a prince. You do suspect that he is going to try to draw answers out of that later, likely of a religious nature. It makes you wonder why he's prying, or if he pries into everyone's spiritual life in a similar way. Maybe this mission will give you more answers.
I will hold it to myself. Lady Justice, are you ready to leave, to venture out into the night?
Yes, let's go to our meeting.
Your Majesty, if you'll excuse us.
By all means, I will be leaving as well. It is good to see you.
It's good to see you as always, my kind prince. May the night carry you in safety.
And you. And he leaves.
All right, and then Baldric and I take our leave.
And Gregory pointedly makes sure to open the door for Diana and hold it.
So where specifically were you going, Diana? To the docks?
Was the diplomat that was coming here?
Yeah, she's here. She arrived on the same ship with those mysterious crates.
No, is she off the ship? Is she in? Where was she located?
She's actually still around the docks. She hasn't really been given permission to enter the city.
Gotcha. Okay, so we are going to be heading down at the same time. So I'm going to ask that Gregory and Father Bastille, you guys wait about 15 minutes for me to pick up the diplomat before you head down there. Because I'm assuming she's going to have guards or possibly an entourage that will come with her.
And how should we know that you have and that time has passed? We could count Genoas. 1 Genoa, 2 Genoa, etc., etc. I could do 5 Hail Marys. Or
let's see here. No. I got an idea. Well, no, let's not do that. Because I can summon you to the docks when we are ready to leave.
You could, couldn't you?
I could.
We'd have to time this carefully. I'd rather not have an oopsies.
I would also rather not have an oopsies, which is why I think summoning might not be the best idea. However, Baldric, do you have any way to get any messages out?
That depends on expediency. What would you like to get out?
Letting Father Bastille or Gregory know when we are leaving the dock.
Would I have anything about that storyteller?
Let me check.
Just to make sure.
You could always make like a bloodstone, and I could put it in my pocket and forget about it, like in every other vampire game I play in.
It's a true anecdote that happened.
It's very true. It's like 3 times.
You're the worst.
You know, I think you could share the senses with one of your people here. If you shared the senses with, say, Gregory, you would know exactly when that person is coming and going.
Okay. Let's do that. Let's share the senses. Okay. Another rouse check. Oh, God. I'm not doing good. But, oh, boy.
So you're at hunger 2,
My hunger too?
right? Oh no, you're at hunger 1?
My hunger 1?
He lost his rouse check before.
Yes.
Yes.
He's at hunger 2.
My hunger 2 and not 3?
Yes, 2 and not 3.
Okay, I'll go with that. So
Because for some reason I set you all at 1. Whatever, that's fine.
okay,
I mean,
that's
you were
fine.
all at 0. I didn't fill them in, but that's
Okay.
okay.
I always eat before I.
We all murdered someone last night.
Isn't
Yeah.
it just the nicest time?
Yeah.
You know, Dark
Okay.
Ages, they just don't even look for them.
No, there's
Can
no
you-
fingerprints or DNA or any of
I
that.
don't know. Veritable buffet.
Yes. And then you just leave them in the street and like someone else will, I don't know, clean it up or eat it or whatever.
Got 4. Nice.
Nice. You were able to share the senses for a good long while this evening. Much longer than it's going to take for you to get this squared away.
Okay.
So this way, we won't have to skulk behind you like a common thief. We can just
Can
wait.
skulk further away.
Yes.
Yes, we'll move at our own leisure as the time permits.
Ah, yes, a leisurely skulk.
Yes, leisurely.
Yes. All right. So Baldric and I will head to the docks.
All right. So you head down to the docks. It's a beautiful night. Very clear sky. Torch lights, cobblestones. Many of the buildings in Genoa are showing signs of life from the insides with the candles lit up. It's still early in the night, so not everyone's gone to sleep yet. There are still bakeries and butcheries and dinner being served and taverns. Many people out and about. It's a nice evening in the summer of Genoa. You make your way to the docks where there are a number of very tall ships around. It's been a very busy day for trade and import. You see flags on many ships from countries that are familiar, others that are not familiar at all. New trade agreements, perhaps. It's good to see, though. It means more business, more people, more blood into this domain. However, you do see a couple of the king's men, or the prince's men, hanging out by one ship in particular, where there is a Bruja woman, Natalia, with somewhat short hair for this day and age. She cut it very short, almost as short as my hair. Blonde, and she's got ice blue eyes that almost shine in the night. She's dressed like a dignitary. It's more of a male fashion, however, though, but she's clearly a woman. She has one person standing next to her. Aldrich, would you please introduce what your character looks like?
Aldrich, standing beside Natalia, is taller than she is, bigger guy, outfitted as you might expect a sailor to be, waiting, watching, keeping an eye. Half an eye on Natalia, half an eye on those crates.
Very well. And as Natalia sees what can only be Diana de Justice coming towards her, she gives a polite bow. I assume that you are Mrs. Justice?
You'd be correct.
Huh. My name is Natalia. I'm not sure if you've heard yet what has happened in Constantinople.
I have, and I'm very curious as to what transpired.
Well, I'd be happy to talk with you about that as far as what I know. And as you can see, I've got some things here that are to be delivered to you.
To me?
To the domain, but primarily to those who were friends with Gabrielle. It's a matter I don't want to talk about in the open.
I do have a private location that we can go to.
Would you mind if the Captain Aldrich accompanies?
He is more than welcome to.
Good. This matter with the shipment concerns him as well.
Of course.
Very well. Why don't you show us where we can discuss this in private?
Yes, of course. So she will take them back to her office, but to one of the ready rooms within the estate that she stays at.
Okay. Where Romero likely
That's
is.
her business at, yeah. If she does any business for the domain, she would take them to one of the places where she meets with people where it's hers, but not her office.
Right. So there is an upper room above a fairly well-known and it's like the 5-star restaurant of its day for Genoa. It's where a lot of the foreign dignitaries come to be impressed. It's very gold, marble, crimson tones, and the upstairs has a private room specifically for this function.
All right, she'll take them there.
And as you walk in, you do see Romero kind of like noticing what's happening, and as everyone goes upstairs, he follows as well.
Yep.
Gregory, you would be seeing this as Baldric is sharing the senses with you. I think you're muted.
Oh, you're muted.
When they move, they mentioned the items were for Diana. Did they take them with them, or are they still there?
They're still there, however, Aldrich's crew are around them.
They've made movement to another location, Father.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well,
It seems... And I not only saw, I heard, yes?
Yeah.
Or-
Yep.
Yeah. Seems the items are for Lady Diana, perhaps at Gabriella's possessions of sorts.
I just the same like to.
Oh, of course. But just to keep you abreast of what we now know. But we should come along and start making our movements then.
Yes, that's our signal.
And before, silence of death goes with movement or just with stillness?
Movement.
Yeah, so I would like to use or set up silence of death.
Sure. So you activate it's free power.
Yeah, free power. Just activate that and nod my head and start to, lead the father out, locking up as we go.
Very well.
I'd like to also show off my abilities. If you would allow me.
No sound, but he just gestures a hand.
And I'm going to activate Shadow Cloak.
In the shadows of the night, give Father Bastille a warm, very cold embrace, covering him from head to toe.
Before I am completely shrouded in shadow, I'd like to just for a fleeting moment, just for one glance, appear frightening. Like when you are alone by yourself in your room and you think that there's nobody watching, but you see something awful in the corner of your eye, and when you go to look, it's just a shadow.
I think you make such movement, but it doesn't impact Gregory perhaps in the same way you might expect, as if he's almost seen such things before. You are not the first, shadow of darkness he has seen. And
Quite.
don't get the reaction perhaps maybe you want out of this man.
But I do get a better understanding of Gregory.
Mm-hmm. And he's just sort of, as you do this, and nods, like, yes, are you done doing your play? So we may go and do our job. Yeah. Just with hand gestures, get silent.
We're just we have like a very a back and forth, like how many hand gestures can we do?
Like it's like just a group of Italians and Jews just back and forth. But yeah,
on our way, Gregory.
Yeah, and I think very stealthily, Gregory will move throughout the city. I think he's spent many a night mapping out the best passages for delivering certain things to people, so he knows rather well.
So there are 3 or 4 of Aldrich's crew unloading even more crates onto the dock. Kind of going in twos. They look heavy. I mean, they're about 3 feet wide by 3 feet, 2 feet tall. They look very heavy.
Can I'd like to get as close as possible without obviously being noticed, and try to see if I can overhear the men unloading the crates to see if they're complaining about the contents or...
It's almost as if you've been around warehouse people or people at a dock before. Because, yeah, they're complaining. They got one guy who's like, these goddamn books are so heavy, why the hell did they even have to bring all these books? Now, who's reading this stuff? This can't be the library of one person. God, my back's been killing me.
Every step the father takes, I think Gregory follows. Or, depending on if he's leading, he'll be there. But he knows not to leave this man alone in any way, shape, or form.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah, just glue.
You are not getting out of my sight.
Yeah, pretty much.
Father Bastille is kind of like a Dark Ages Dennis the Menace.
He's not wrong.
I'd like to... Does it seem like there's like a lot to go? Like they're just unloading and there's a lot more to go? Or is it just kind of...
There's about 15,
do I get the sense that there's more in the boat?
There's about 15 in total on the dock now. And they're still going back for a few more.
I'm gonna go in the boat.
Okay.
There often are the least valuable items are often unpacked the first.
Mm-hmm.
And the most important items are left for last, just in case.
I think that is an astute observation and one that Gregory agrees with, and he'll nod his head and entreat the father to go first.
How kind.
Yeah, after you, father. Age before beauty. Except you can't say that, but...
So I go in, and I'm basically just kind of tracking, where...
You definitely need to give me a roll.
Yeah.
For Dex and Stealth. Make sure you add your 2 die for Shadow Cloak. I played Lassombra, I know. My Lassombra is meaner than yours, too.
All right, so
Stealth.
Since I'm with him, I'm assuming I'm also making this Dex Stealth roll?
Sure.
Don't forget your blood die. Four successes.
5 successes.
Ooh.
With a 1 on the hunger die.
That's okay. You see a very large individual who's not unloading crates come out from the captain's chambers. And he seems like he spots something out of the ordinary. But then he just kind of rubs his eyes. And you do manage to slip by him. But you're thankful that you did. Can you move into the captain's chambers, or are you going lower decks?
I'm going... Oh. I don't want to... right now, I need to be as stealthy as possible. So I don't want to kind of get into a conversation here, but I'm probably just going to go to the lower decks just to see if there's a box there unpacking around, because that's kind of where my head is at right now.
Yeah, and Gregory right now is more gaining intel on. I mean, he's got some interest what's going on here, but he likes to see what Father Bastille is up to here, so he's happy to let the man lead to his whimsies.
Now, if we were in a different situation where we could communicate a little bit more easily, I would probably suggest that we would split up, but unfortunately that's not an option.
Oh, no.
Uh-huh. So you do see that there's one box that looks like the cover's been lifted a little bit, as if someone checked it when it first came on board.
I want to investigate that box.
Certainly.
All right. So, investigation intelligence?
In this case, you can also use occult.
Oh.
Or academics.
Anything seem like astronomy medicine here?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Here's me thinking that was a religious cross. I want to thank Real Women of Gaming for rating this stream right now.
Ooh, thank you.
For all of our watchers right now, we are running a V5 conversion of Dark Ages to raise money for SAFeCon 2020. All money, all proceeds go to Tabletop Therapy for mental and social health professionals. So thank you so much for rating us.
Thank you, and welcome.
Thank you. Welcome. So, that will be another 5.
You find a very old scroll in almost immaculate condition. It's dated several hundred years before the death of the Christ. And that's a fairly newer tome out of what's in this box. There are very ancient medical and apothecary and astrological tomes in just this crate alone that you would have thought were lost to time.
Oof. Oh, Father, you are very familiar with sin, and I think as you see this, you definitely have a moment where Gregory, he's looking at this, and there's just a quick shade on his face of such strong desire as he looks at this plethora of books.
Can I, as I'm watching Gregory look at the scroll and the books, my interest is piqued. And can I see any iconography, maybe any language, without actually kind of picking anything up, but just glancing down at it because I want to look as disinterested as possible? Is there anything that I would find interesting related to our Father?
You find a dissertation on parts of the Book of Nod that may have been lost to history.
I'm going to pick up that and an arbitrary other book.
Home and Garden.
Home and Garden. And kind of pick it up, look at it, flip through the pages, and kind of palm the Book of Nod segment and hold up the Home and Garden.
So you're trying to stealthily do this so I don't see?
I'm trying to stealthily steal this. Yes.
Yeah, I'm keeping very close eye on our father, as I've stated many a time.
You might find this very interesting. It has it writes of various flowers and plants growing in various areas local to Constantinople.
What's interesting about what Father Bastille just did, though, is he still has Shadow Cloak on. Mm-hmm. So he looks like one gelatinous mass of shadow. So the moment he picks two books up, you wouldn't be able to tell if he swapped one in, swapped one out. It's part of him. Without being able to gaze into that oblivion, it's impossible to tell what he has in his person.
Huh.
However, meanwhile, in the upper room, Natalia does address Baldric and Diana with her full name of Natalia Svatoslav, the child of Bruja. Back into character, I've come here for a couple of reasons. There are things brewing back at home, and I was told outside help was necessary. With the disappearance of Gabriel, the son of the Draken, Simeon, recommended I reach out to our Genoan allies as a sign of good faith. This is not widely known, but in Constantinople, the upper families that control the city, their control is dwindling. And the dream of Constantinople might be dying. So my clan, the Gangrel and the Nosferatu, have come together and started something called the Covenant of Three. Trying to make sure that the Scion families, who some of them seem to be intent on destroying the dream of Constantinople, fail. And some of the things we brought along with us are actually books from a library called the Library of Forgotten. They are tomes that are immeasurably old. And if the city falls with those books, they will likely be stolen or, worse, destroyed. My friend, the sea captain here, Aldrich, was brought on board with this plan, as Aldrich is something of a book lover himself. However, there's a bit more going on back there, and I'd like to have you come back with me to see what you can find out as a third party.
Splendid. I'm sure I can assist you.
I didn't actually catch your name, sir.
I am Baldric.
A pleasure, Baldric.
Charmed.
I've asked Baldric to accompany me. He has been making himself an invaluable resource for our domain, and I think we'll be able to add value and insight to anything that we try to accomplish here together, and possibly in Constantinople as well.
You flatter me with kind words, Lady Justice. It suits me to hear such positive things.
An influx of kindred allies is definitely music to my ears.
Do you have any leads as to who might be behind all of this?
Some guesses. People have already begun finger pointing.
Well,
Should
I
have
mean,
shocker there.
that's going to happen irregardless.
It seems like one person many want to take the fall is a Banu Hakim named Shaba of the Ashira. But the Latin Quarter, where the embassy was held, has not seen very good days. Last year we had a riot break out, and most of the kindred in the Latin Quarter were killed by witch hunters and the like. And it seems like it's just been a hotbed for plenty of activity. Many of the immigrants that come to Constantinople will get funneled through that Latin Quarter. It's something that Bishop Alfonso has allowed, and it seems almost detrimental to the health of the city.
Okay. What about the others of your clan there?
Aside from myself and Idris, we are few in number.
Okay.
What clan do you hail from, my dear?
Bruja.
Ah, the rabble rousers.
Not where I'm from. I am a senator and a politician.
Ah, interesting.
In
And I'm
fact,
assuming. Oh, I
oops, sorry.
apologize.
Most of the members of my clan have been more tied up in political matters of keeping everything afloat than being able to actually enforce or break apart some of the more physical things that plague our city.
I see.
How is Idris handling all of this? What are his views on it?
He's not himself. He's not the man he once was. I know when he last visited here, he was very hopeful. I think seeing the city in its decline has done something to him, and he's not taking it well. He doesn't go out much anymore, and I worry about how much longer he wants to stay among our kind.
That's troubling. I consider him a good friend.
Same.
I would definitely like to accompany you back to help out and hopefully root out that which is causing Constantinople so much grief.
My worry is that you might find too much, and that we won't know which cancer to cut out first to save the body in the time we have.
We will do our best.
We will.
I have a couple others that I'd like to take with me that have been invaluable resources, especially Grigory, who is of the Banu Hakim. So he might actually be able to help us with the one that you are having issues with,
Well,
or
it's not-
possibly having issues with.
It's not that I've ever had an issue with Shaba. It's just that she's quickly becoming the scapegoat.
And having, I think, Grigory there might actually help, at least help her. If we need to get her out, we can.
I think she's safe for now. She's very capable, and she has a good relationship with the general of the city, Belisarius.
Have any of the politics changed since I've been there last?
A bit. So the three Scion families of Ventru, Zamitsi, and Toreador, Michael has gone into torpor after he hasn't seemed mentally well. it's almost he hasn't quite been himself, whether it's delusions or people have reported seeing visions of him in the streets, which is strange and unconfirmed, but it's happened more than once. Jesu has taken over for the Draken, who's up and disappeared. Antonius was killed centuries ago by, well, it's well known now, but he was pretty much put to death. And since then, both Michael and the Draken have suffered heartache. And it's kind of fallen apart. Their children have since taken up their kingdoms, their oversight of the Scion families. And I'm not sure if they're quite up to it. Jesu of the Zemits, he seems very pious, but he's aloof, and there's something else going on with him I can't put my finger on. The child of Michael, Patronus, is doing his best, but I think he's being crushed under the weight of expectation. And as far as, well, we'll talk more on the boat, I suppose.
Yes.
Gregory, you're hearing all of this, by the way? You're muted. You're still muted.
All my mics want to have fun today. But yeah, I was just about to ask about you that I'm hearing all of this and I'm listening. And it's definitely, I think, riling some of my suspicions up about this crate and some of these other items. And just what else, could be going on. Does the name Sheba, does that ring any bells for me?
You know that she is a female Banu Hakim, which is fairly rare. And I think she was pretty much embraced to be kind of like people don't expect her. So they don't quite know what to make of her. And her name means the ghost, literally in and out kind of thing. So she had a much more physical job in the past. Now she seems more like an ambassador. So you've heard of her. She's of some renown.
Okay. All right, yeah, so I know her. I know
Right.
this. All right, yeah, I think I'm keeping this to myself.
Okay.
But I am definitely at first I was like, some interesting tomes, but now that I know that there's some really more hidden agenda stuff here, I think I've raised a book up to mostly cover my eyes, and I want to activate Oblivion Sight.
All right. And your eyes turn completely black.
Yeah, just covered by this book, so they're barely cusping over it all, and
And if
looking
you're
over the father.
And if you look over at Father, the shadows are gone.
Do I see a scroll poking out of his pocket?
Yeah, you do.
Ah.
Father, and I'm gonna break the silence. I'll blink away the Oblivion Sight. Cast it from me.
He speaks.
Yeah, he says, he'll whisper, Father, talk to me. You know so much. Tell me about sin.
Sin.
Yes, sin.
It is the walls in which house the divine.
And you are so knowledgeable about Genoa and its town as you keep. You are a keeper of this, correct? The people's sins.
Well, I wouldn't presume that I keep a record
Of course not.
of sin, but yes, I do know the dimensions of the walls around divinity.
What are the most common sins of the people, Father?
The most common.
Yes.
Well, adultery is fairly common. But I would say honoring yourself by honoring the belongings of another.
Mm-hmm.
And breaking such honor would be fairly common.
I see. And have you sinned recently, Father? And like, they just like his own eyes tilt in that direction. Like it's the blob, but he kind of knows where in the blob the scroll's poking out.
Yeah. I'm a man of the cloth. I do know the dimensions around the divine. I do know the weights of sin. However, one must traverse the walls in order to understand the divine that is within. And the presumption that men like myself are without sin is an interesting presumption.
Oh, no. I don't believe that. I mean, as you said, we're all mortal and therefore fallible to sin. But I was asking you specifically, Father, have you recently sinned?
Well, that's a matter between me and the Lord now, isn't it?
It could be you, the Lord, and those that might be around. And he'll just go back to another book, but his eyes are still on you as he just flips a page. These are quite interesting tomes. They will be wonderful property under Lady Diana. I'm sure she'll allow access for them to be seen.
Yes, presuming that they are the belongings of Lady Justice. It would be my absolute pleasure to deliver these tomes personally to her, especially those that are most valuable, especially when those who are around, as you say, have not proven themselves to be the most trustworthy yet.
Yet. He just sort of slips the book back that he had been looking at. Would you like to investigate other crates?
I would like to investigate what is more valuable than what we found in these books.
So like the captain's log.
That is a good idea.
I'm chock full of them.
Why don't you show me the way?
Sure. But he's not going to like turn his back on the father.
He's gonna like
sort of sideways shuffle.
on my way forward, walking forward, I'm not leaving eyes with you. I'm going to lock eyes with you.
Yeah, I think we're just having the most intense staring contest.
Yeah, absolutely. But I am going to pick up the book that you were looking at.
You hear a number of footsteps coming down the stairs to the lower level.
The jig is up.
The jig is up.
8 people. 8 men.
And I'm still in shadow.
Yes.
Yeah. If there is a serious risk, there is no chance that, like, I can hide. There's no chance that I can just naturally try and hide amongst the crates? Or is it the people are coming down too soon?
Coming down too soon. You hear a fight break out above decks.
All right. If it's too late, I don't want to get caught by these guys. Incredibly similarly to our lovely father, Grigory molts into the darkness.
And as you were both melded into the darkness,
Ooh.
the fight above you gets more intense. As There's more people fighting. Almost as if the whole crew is fighting. And the men who come down the stairs have empty sacks.
Oh, absolutely not.
And begin taking as many books as they can into the sacks. And turn and begin quickly making their way back up to the stairs.
Yeah, no way Gregory is letting that happen. Absolutely not.
Baldric, you're sharing the senses.
Mm-hmm.
It's two-way radio.
Oh, snap!
So I'm seeing in all of this.
Yeah.
I trust Baldric.
And for now, it's been to Baldric. I mean, the tete-a-tete between him and Father, probably not that interesting. That stuff happens with Kindred all the time. However, now you're seeing something that catches your attention a little bit more than some inter-Kindred bickering. You're seeing theft occurring on the ship of Aldrich, who you're in the room with, in a fight over something that you know to be very valuable. You've heard it being called the Library of the Forgotten, and that it's an immense treasure of Constantinople.
Is Aldrich in the room with us?
Yes. Aldrich's in the room with you, Diana, and Natalia.
Aldrich, may I call you that, sir?
Yeah, that's fine.
There seems to be a disagreement among your crew. Violence is all I can say.
That is surprising. How do you know this?
I keep my secrets closer to my heart. Just know that these eyes can see a lot more than what people are actually trying to keep hidden.
Like I said, Baldric offers insight that others may not. Aldrich, Natalia, I believe we need to go back to the docks. I hope you're ready for a fight.
Ladies, gentlemen, if I may go on ahead of you, I'd like to get to my ship as quickly as possible. And then he's going to blink his way back to his ship.
Very well. Do you want to give me a rouse check for Blink?
Pass.
Sweet. You do not get hungrier. The power works as intended. You're basically doing about 50 feet a step as you push off. Faster than what the people in the street could have possibly seen. And you're probably going behind the buildings instead of the main street anyway. It all goes right to the coast, regardless. Diana, are you following suit?
I am, but I am not going to use Blink.
Okay.
I am going to use Traversal to go above on the rooftops.
Very well. You basically get a running start and you go right up the side of the building, onto the roof, with the greatest of ease, making your way with a higher perspective to the ship itself. From that vantage point, you see that there are a number of people who snuck up to the boat in smaller boats, like smaller rowboats. And they must have climbed up with ropes to the actual boat itself. But they are fighting Aldrich's crew.
Is there anyone still in the ship?
Yeah, there are a number of crewmen of Aldrich's, and there are 3 or 4 people fighting them on the main deck. You don't know what's happening with your actual... Well, you're not on the street yet, but you see people through Gregory. You see that there were 8 people lower decks.
Is there anyone in the room currently?
Romero? And you just saw Diana and Aldrich rush out of there.
I'm going to assume Romero is going to follow.
I'm going to make my way to the crew, where the crew is, the main deck where they're fighting.
Yep.
I'm going to do something possibly dastardly.
I like the sound of that.
I do too.
As well.
So it's going to take Baldric a little bit longer than his friends. However, Diana and Aldrich get there, and they do see what I had described. You do see Percival, your first mate, kicking some serious ass. He's got one of them in a headlock, and he's using his sword and still fighting one other guy. Grigory and Father Bastille, who are lower decks.
If I may, I'd like to rouse check, and use my arms of Ahriman.
Full on breaching, huh?
Well, I mean, we're in a boat.
Why not?
Sounds good.
Okay. Don't get hungrier. And I'd like to split my dice pool.
Sure.
So that I can have multiple two-dimensional tendrils. Question for you, storyteller.
Yes, sir.
How many multiple tendrils will you allow?
You got 2 this time.
Okay, thank you.
But next time you could have many more.
I like the sound of that. So the just to kind of, I want to get an understanding. So there's 8 that came down, or was there 6?
8.
8 came down, and they're all running up. I'd like to.
Well, there's actually 2 of them filled their sacks,
Yes.
and they're heading towards the staircase.
And there's other 2, or the other few
The
are
other 6 are still looking through the books, trying to find what might be the best to take. They know they're in a hurry, but they want to get what they want.
So I'm going to, knowing where Gregory is, I'm going to let the other 2 go up. And I'm just going to go for the easiest, kind of closer to me. If there are others nearest to Gregory, I'm going to kind of like leave them to him.
Sure.
And use my arms of Ahriman to grapple the 2 that are close to each other around the face.
Yeah. Give me a Wits and
possible.
Oblivion.
Okay. 4 successes.
Okay, do you want to give me that roll again?
Yep.
Cool.
Two on that one.
It's enough because they're not paying attention. They're not actively looking to dodge anything. They're trying to grab and go. And
Yeah.
they didn't see anyone down here. They don't think they're running into any opposition. Everyone is doing their job, keeping people busy upstairs.
Yeah.
And your shadow tendrils jet out from you and wrap around their faces. What's your strength?
3.
What are you doing with them? Are you suffocating them? Are you lifting them? Or
Yes, I'm pushing them to the ground. I'm pushing them towards Inferno. I'm pushing them towards the abyss.
okay. And they face plant onto the wood of the ship very hard and begin bleeding.
I'd like to hold them there, but I don't quite want to kill them yet.
Okay. The other 4 next to them jet back in surprise.
Yeah. So I think using the sort of shadow basis, Grigory is going to take his hand and use a small little dagger to the side to slit it partially. And he activates Scorpion's Touch. So I'm going to roll a rouse check. Pass. Yeah, so he wants to have these slit palms that are just dripping with this vitae, and he's going to go sort of the opposite of where the father is going for the two that are at the stairs,
Okay.
and attempt to use his hands to paralyze them both.
All right. Give me a Dex and Brawl roll. You could also
Scorpion.
You could also spit it too.
Ew. Yeah, why not both? So Scorpion's touch is strength and blood sorcery.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually reading it now. So
Yeah, sorry.
that's the roll to activate it, right?
Yeah, so that throws. Okay, so I'm going to try and activate that first and then do the... All right, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, because normally you're coating a bladed weapon with it.
Oh,
and you have to
okay.
make the attack with that weapon. But it could still be on your hand. You could literally touch them with it in a grapple.
Oh, okay.
And that poison would seep in.
Okay, so
Spitting it works too.
strength and brawl. That is dose successes.
2 successes. You got one of them by the cuff of their ankle. And he screams out in pain as this terrible poison starts flooding his arteries in his foot. And his foot goes completely still, and he almost begins to lose feeling and function in one leg. And he throws the bag of books up the steps to the other thief, catches it, and continues to run up the steps. And at that, would you guys like to take a quick break for 5 minutes and we can come back?
That would be good.
Yeah.
Cool. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back with our Dark Ages V5 game. And we'll see you very soon.
And just a quick check, 3,155 so far is raised for Save Against Fear. If you haven't donated yet, please do, but oh my gosh, thank you. But let's keep this going. We will be back in a few minutes, so just go check it out and maybe possibly flirt with the idea of tipping on Tiltify.
Yay.
I don't know. If I think of a time, I will let you know. I know.
I ship it. I support it.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Hey.
Thank you.
And we are back with our V5 Dark Ages campaign. We left off with some good old-fashioned fun. There was a boat fight. That's always cool. So thank you for joining us. If you haven't tuned in till now, this is the Bodhana Group SAFeCon. We're raising money for that charity, and they use tabletop gaming for therapeutic purposes. They have a number of therapists running games, playing games this weekend to help support and bring some awareness to this great cause. Crystal Mazur just put her cat on stream, and no one even did the show your cat emote, so we're super happy about getting a freebie because it's a beautiful kitty.
Oh, what's the kitty's name?
His name's Zion, and he likes to be on stream, but only on his terms. So he comes and begs to be let up.
We have a rule. We have a rule around these parts that when a cat shows up on stream, that whatever you're drinking, whether it be milk, tea, vitae, or wine, you have to take a drink. You at home as well.
All right. So we leave off with Father Bastille has grabbed two of these people by the head with arms of iron men.
Yes.
Grigory has paralyzed one of their legs. Diana and Aldrich are now at the docks. Are you going up the ramp onto the ship at this point to help kind of pitch in? Excellent.
Yes. And you said that Percival is holding down the fort a little bit and part of the deck?
Yes, he is.
Then I'll head towards where I know the more important items would be kept.
Okay, so that'd be lower decks.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. So as you go towards that area, you do see one of the guys who was downstairs who made it exiting. And he's surprised to see you.
Wah, wah.
That guy just goes right back down. No, what I'm going to do is use Daunt and tell him to go back down.
All right. So you activate your supernatural ability to terrify and intimidate. Can you give me a... You can use charisma or manipulation and intimidation and add however many you have in presence because you're using Daunt. I thought for sure you're going to Spartan kick this dude.
I mean, I thought about it, but I decided the intimidation route was probably just better in general.
Hey, Rick, can I ask a small question about these staircases?
Yeah.
They're not very big, right?
Yeah, like one at a time.
One at a time.
He's about to run back down, and I'm at the bottom right there. Good to know.
It is good to know, isn't it?
So that's 3 successes?
That's enough. He's already weirded out that you're there and didn't expect you. What are you saying to him?
Back down the stairs and return what is mine.
And he turns, and as his footing actually like almost trips over himself as he runs down the stairs, and he sees
into my knife.
Gregory at the base. As he's moving, your arm kind of comes out. Where are you stabbing
That's
him?
coated in vitae.
Oh, even worse.
It's the knife that I used to cut myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just right in the abdomen.
And
Kidneys.
you feel the piercing in his gut, which then spreads not only into his lifeblood pouring out of his body, but he begins to see black and blacks out very quickly from...
I'm just going to grab the 2 sacks of
the
books and be like,
poison.
no. Just grab the 2 sacks from him. No.
And he falls down the stairs, knife in stomach.
What can Aldrich see of Grigory right now? Are you still like all shadowed up and like you're some dude he doesn't know on his ship?
Yeah, I'm still shadows. So theoretically you can't see me, question mark?
But you just how does this interaction look to Aldrich?
So you're looking down, and you see that the man who you told to run downstairs, he stops, falls over, and dies. And, and then behind him is a shadowy figure that is supernaturally clouded in darkness.
Okay. So Aldrich is pissed. There's intruders on his ship, and apparently there's some spooks in his basement. So he's gonna march down those stairs and demand of the darkness, show yourself. Why are you on my vessel?
I'm going to
There's arms.
I'm going to if I may, pop the skulls of the two individuals that I'm holding against the ground. And I'd like to use those tendrils to grab two more by the head in a similar fashion. But I'd like to do kind of like a clunking of the heads, if I can. Well, this is complex, I know, but
So I'm going to say that the ones...
grab a bag while I'm doing that as well.
The ones that you had grabbed...
Yes.
You squeeze their heads, and they are dead.
Yes.
Those two arms now are going to grab two more gentlemen and knock them together.
Yeah. Kind of like a...
Like a Three Stooges move.
Exactly. But while I'm doing that, I want to grab a bag from one of the dead fellows.
Okay. So give me a Wits in Oblivion to successfully grab these two gentlemen. Split your dice pool.
Yep.
They obviously know you're there now. And they have
Storyteller,
dropped...
have I gotten to the deck yet?
You have.
Okay. And what am I seeing?
You see Aldrich yelling down the stairs. You see many of Aldrich's shipmates still fighting. Some of them on the ground wrestling with other thieves. You see Diana, who has arrived, who still needs to make an action. Father Bastille.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Baldric.
No, okay.
Okay. 5. I'm going to say you grab one of them and you just fling one dude into the other dude.
Okay.
With terrifying force. Knocking them out. Like you rolled a strike. Was that kind of what you were intending?
That's exactly what I was intending.
Okay.
So there's mortals nearby. They're fighting on the deck right now.
There are.
All right. So are you done, Father Bastille?
Oh, I am never done, but I'll let you go.
Okay, so Diana is going to look around and see if there's anybody who is taking items off the ship or grabbing for items. And she is going to go move in and just stab them with her knives. She's going to slit their throats.
There were two guys who had taken books out of the crates on the docks. They hadn't even gone too much further into the ship. And they started to load up their rowboats with some of them. They're placing two more into that boat as you come up from behind. So you're knifing them?
I am.
All right. Give me a dex and melee.
These librarians are tough.
Listen, don't mess with libraries.
And I try to get someone's attention of the people fighting.
Sure.
Got 5 successes.
Where are you attacking them? I mean, you have free reign to attack them wherever you like.
Oh, no, I'm going to walk up and slit their throats.
They're dead.
Yeah. It's not any question or anything like that. He's just going to kill everybody that is stealing what she considers hers now.
You did it so well, and it was such a work of art that even the blood splayed away from the books or any of the items.
Fantastic. She's going to pick up the books.
That is adorable.
Yep, she's going to pick up the books and take them with her.
Very well. Baldric.
Okay, so Aldrich is currently facing down a shadow.
I think
Baldric.
because
sorry.
Aldrich.
Just call me Keats. Call me Keats.
Cool.
That's easier.
Gentlemen engaging in violence, please lend me your kind eyes.
the fuck is this person?
You, come now.
What are you talking about? I'm busy here. Who are you? And he begins still trying to knock out some of the ship people.
Okay. You want to play hardball, huh? Okay. I'm going to use dementation.
Rock on. Singing my song.
Now I'm pissed off.
Get it, Aldrich.
All right. Give me a
Rouse
rouse check. There's plenty of
I
food here.
pass.
Good. There's plenty of food here if you failed.
I pass. Manipulation and dominate. Huh.
So you're going to inflict a psychotic break on at least one of these people.
I'm going to burn a willpower.
Okay.
Two.
They are mortal. Some of them are ghouls. They do not have a snowflake's chance in hell at getting away from what you are about to do to them. What is it that the person sees as you enter his mind with your malice?
I want him to see a very frightening shadow-like version of me entering his home and eliminating his entire bloodline.
And he envisions himself an old, frail man in bed, 90 years old, his chest barely able to rise and fall so that the blood and life in his frail body is still able to witness the horror that's happening in front of him. But he sees before him on his wall almost the entire family tree and generations before and after him. And you are suddenly standing in front of his bedside, your shadow cast on that tree, as you pluck each one of them off like grapes, squeeze, and then their lifeblood falls to the floor. And this is moments to him in the real world, but in his mind this takes over an hour as you slowly pluck each red grape with the face and soul of someone he loved crushed and fall to the floor. And he falls to the ground.
Perfect.
Convulsing, weeping, trying to scratch his own eyes out to stop what he's seeing in his head.
Perfect. Can I drag him to like a corner?
He can't do anything but
All right.
wish to die.
Perfect. I want to drain him.
Very well. Your fangs enter the neck of this man, and you taste every bit of fear and terror in the flavor of his blood. You probably think to yourself, this is a job well done. It's my favorite topping. Yeah. You drink him all the way.
Yes.
Then, my friend, you go down to 0 hunger. And
Can I toss his body over the ship?
hell yeah, you can.
Okay.
He's a lot lighter now without all that heavy blood in his body.
And just push.
And
there you go, down into the abyss where you belong.
several of the other crewmates jump off the ship after seeing what Baldric has done to that man.
Uh-oh.
And that with a glance, one of their strongest fighters began tearing his eyes out and then was just taken down by Baldric. They have given up and run in terror.
They weren't carrying books, were they?
Whatever they had, they dropped. It wasn't worth whatever you did to them. However, there's still a few gentlemen in the hold below.
If any of them come by me, I will be slicing them with my knives.
A few do, because they think you're just an average woman in the wrong place, wrong time.
Oh, yeah, they are sorely mistaken on that.
So 3 men come running past you, trying to get to the ramp to the dock.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna try to, if I can't get their throats, slice their bellies.
Yeah, you're fast enough to do it. Just give me 3 quick rolls. You don't have to even split your dice pools because you are fast enough that that is not a concern.
Okay. First one is 1 success. Two successes.
Okay.
The second one. And 6 successes for the next one.
Wow. One of them you stabbed immediately in the throat. Another one brushes by your shoulder, running past you. You stab him in the back. The third one gets by you and begins running down the street. You're able to pull your knife out, and you can give me a dex and athletics to see if you can throw your knife.
I will totally do that. Two successes.
Good enough. He's not that far. It's still, if this was a gun, it would still be considered point-blank range. And the knife goes into the lower of his middle back, causing him to collapse in the street. Not dead, but certainly not able to run.
I walk up, and as he's laying in the ground, I step on his neck. Who sent you?
What are you talking about?
Why are you here?
For the books. We're here for the books.
Who sent you?
His name is Magus.
Where is this Magus from?
Constantinople. Those books are not supposed to leave the city.
By whose order?
It is. That's all I know.
Wonderful. I'll be paying Magus a visit. I'm gonna go reach for my knife, and before I pull it out, I'm gonna push it further in. Because she's not very humane. I'm gonna twist it.
And it just begins pouring out.
Am I seeing this?
Likely. Yeah, it's pouring out, but then slower and slower as his blood pressure begins to drop. And he's just...
Lady Justice?
Yes.
May I have returned as well?
I'm gonna pull my knife out. Go right ahead.
I'm just going to take my foot and press it on his windpipe and just kind of slowly dig my heel into it.
He's barely alive, barely breathing, but the last thing he sees is Baldric.
Enjoy the afterlife, foul scum.
He won't.
What a night. Are you feeling well, Lady Justice?
I have a name.
Do you? Would you mind sharing?
Not here. Let's go collect everybody else on the boat.
Have you seen the father around?
I'm sure we'll see him at some point.
Father Bastille, someone comes up behind you with a chain and gets you around the neck and begins to pull. If you were mortal, this would cause you to not be able to breathe. Aldrich, you're likely still looking down the stairs at Gregory. Gregory, you likely would have heard this chain and this whatever's happening with Father Bastille, especially since you just threw one guy at another. Does your vision also go to that?
Yes, I imagine there's like this. It's like this sequence of like the shadows drop, and you see Gregory, and he does like this slight bow to Aldrich, but that bow, like that turn, that lowering shifts to him grabbing a blade at his side, like a dagger, and then just turning and throwing it out at the individual to like strike them who is currently attempting to choke Father Bastille.
All right, give me a Dex and Athletics. Deep breaths, Father Bastille. Even though you don't need to take them.
The chain feels familiar.
It's the chain of sin.
Yeah.
When you have two, it's a 4 crit.
Oh, sweet. It hits him at the...
Right.
He's actually behind... His back is turned to you.
Oh, okay, so then right at like the base.
Yeah, I was going to say it hits him right at the base of the skull, and he goes completely limp. The last man standing in the room begins running up to Father Bastille to punch him in the face.
I have lethal body. And so I would, but I'm not very quick, right? So if I need to take a punch, I guess just like a good child of God, I will take my licks.
You're going to turn the other cheek, Father?
Oh, absolutely not.
Well, I would like to try to take this one, if I may.
You're fast. You've already activated Blink. You are down the stairs past Gregory, and you see this man. He hits and connects with Father Bastille's face, but he rolled really poorly and didn't put enough into it. And before Father Bastille can even strike back, you're on him.
Yeah, I also have lethal body.
Yes.
And I'm just gonna punch him hard, hopefully in the neck or center of mass. But let's see how that goes.
I just...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just want to remind you, I have not dropped my shadow.
I'll deal with you later.
Good.
I like you already. Are you adding prowess?
That would come from my blood potency. I don't have anything marked on my track.
Really?
Yeah, what should be there, please?
So you have 3 in potence.
Mm-hmm.
And prowess is your number 2. So you could roll and do a rouse check, which you might get hungrier. But you would add your potence level of 3 to your strength, which is already impressive.
Yeah, I am going to roll for prowess. That's a fail, so I'm going to get a little hungry.
Yep.
It's fine. And then it's... Then it's strength and my potency.
Well, you're going to do strength and brawl to try and hit him?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like 10 dice.
It's a a lot of dice.
My gosh.
So that's 6 successes.
Yeah.
I'd like to take out his throat if I can.
Okay. So with one hit, you burn through his entire life track bar. And if there was someone behind him, they would also be in the hospital, but there wasn't anyone there. So you move and you punch, and what connects his throat to his actual shoulders comes with you, clean as a whistle. Just pops right off. He's decapitated, and his last breath is him exhaling while a stream of blood just kind of, it's like a balloon with some water in front of it. It just, he's gone. It's a mess. You practically cleaved him in two.
Then Keats is going to turn to this shadow that's still in front of him, drop the throat, and say, "Those books are in my keeping. I intend that they stay there. Why are you on my ship?"
Is every mortal out of the room, or in one way or another?
You could say that.
Are they all dead?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah, this is the guy.
There's the guy that I took the ankle out on who's just paralyzed.
Right.
And he's still alive.
Yes.
Yeah, purposefully still alive.
Okay. I'm going to use my.
Diana and Baldric, are you going downstairs where the rest of the commotion was likely happening?
Yes, if there's nobody else up there, I would be.
Okay. You see, cool. You see the rest of Aldrich's shipmates kind of gathering everything back together the way it was, including Percival, who's the first mate. They're largely uninjured, but they're good. So you head downstairs, so you'll hear and witness whatever's happening with Father West.
And I'll have picked up the man that's alive but like paralyzed, and I'm just sort of like holding him by the scruff.
Okay.
While you're holding him by the scruff, I'm taking the bag and the book that I pilfered, slipping it into the bag, and using my arms of Aramen to grab the man that's being held by the scruff by the neck, and then I will drop my shadow.
What if I don't want him to grab him by the neck?
Then as the shadow reaches for him, you could pull him back.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull him back.
And it's a swing and a miss.
I've got 5 successes.
You can contest that roll.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull him back.
Okay.
That's gonna be the contest for that would be strength and athletics.
Yeah.
Or dex and athletics.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, okay.
Storyteller,
Yes, sir.
I've seen what Gregory has seen when it comes to the father, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Just checking.
Until you turn it off.
So crit, so that's 7.
Ooh, sweet a miss.
Son of
Father
a...
Bastille gets nothing but air.
Gregory just like sort of tuts and pulls us back and says, "This gift isn't for you, Father. It's for Diana."
That gift cannot be left alive while we are in this room, for we have revealed ourselves.
And Lady Diana will take what she wishes of him and her whims and his information and make sure it never leaves.
I'm not going to get into this argument with you.
There is no arguing.
Yes. You, on the other hand, this is your boat.
Yes. Why are you here?
I'm Father Bastille, and I'm protecting the belongings, the gift that is being given to Lady Justice. Or is it Justice? Have I been pronouncing it wrong this whole time?
It's Justice.
to Lady Justice. And
Then
so I present to you the stolen goods. And I throw the books on the pile of books, the bag with the books in it. I throw it onto the pile.
Oh, his face is not happy when you throw those books. Like, he
How
just
could you
looks.
throw such precious material?
You have committed a sin.
Can you give me a frenzy check?
Remind me? I've never actually frenzied.
First time for everything.
So, I believe it's a willpower roll. I haven't done these too often myself. And you're going to take, I believe it's, I'll look up to see what your bane severity is without.
I think it's the difficulty of what your hunger is currently.
I currently have a hunger of 1.
Well,
I guess I killed someone last night.
That's for a hunger frenzy. This is fury.
Oh.
But yeah, you're right. In this case, let me look up because I want to announce what her blood potency is to the world. Because your clan bane. Okay, so you're at a negative, you're at a difficulty of 2 added to that. So in this case, I'm going to say it's physical provocation or harassment because you love books.
Hell,
books,
I do, and
books
these
are
sacred.
These
this
are
is
sacred.
not okay.
So give me a willpower roll. Your difficulty is 4 to resist.
Do I include a blood dice in that, or is it?
Nope, just straight up willpower.
Sorry, willpower.
Okay. 3 successes.
It's not enough, and you
That's
can't.
fine. I would like to kick his ass.
Well, I had a feeling you would.
You got to him later.
You're not completely able to control the wave of frenzy. However, what do you envision happening before you lose control, before you see red and the beast takes over?
Keats glances at the books that were so irreverently dumped, and his face just, it doesn't look human anymore, and he just turns way too fast. Any hint of life is gone. He's dead still for a moment, and then he's just on you.
Can you also roll me 2 extra die? Apparently you have to add in 1/3 of your humanity to that. See, it's been a while since I've done that. So thank
No
you,
successes.
Chat. Still no successes?
Nope.
Well, then you're fucked. Yes, Big Dad, they do have a penalty, which she had in there. So, all right, you're just gonna go deck him?
Yeah.
Are you gonna hit me or are you gonna grab me?
He's going to grab you with the intent of probably slamming you against the floor or a wall, pinning you, and we'll see how it goes from there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
So, Diana, let me get your sheet ready because I'm the beast here. Baldric and Gregory witness something. Father Basile witnesses it from an entirely different point of view. Not the best one.
Quick question before the death comes. Father, are you still holding the bag, or did you throw the bag into the
Oh,
pile?
that's exactly why this is
that's
happening.
what's happening because they threw the books instead of gently placing them.
Yes, I tossed the bag onto the boxes over the pile of books where the thieves were kind of like pilfering all of them, and immediately erased her. And that's exactly why we're in this situation right now.
Yeah. Lesson of life: treat books nicely.
I am a real life librarian, so this is pretty much how I treat my patrons.
Father Bastille, I'm going to roll a 10-sided die. If you get above a 5, you will have a chance to dodge. If you get below, you will not have enough time to react. This is all happening very fast. It's a 50-50.
Okay.
You got a 1.
Oh, wow.
Aldrich's beast takes control. Her eyes go completely red like a great white shark's. Pupils probably dilate all the way. Grabs Father Bastille by his stupid fucking cassock and slams him into the wall, breaking some of the wood on her own ship. If that was part of the ship that was underwater, you'd be seeing water coming through. But instead, there's a different kind of liquid. The vitae from Father Bastille's face has split as he has hit the wood inhumanly hard. And you are currently pinned there. As that's happening, Aldrich's beast subsides, and you see that yourself, you've got your hands on this person. Your hands are on their cassock, their face has been slammed into the wood. You got regained control over your beast. And yes, Baldric.
Me?
Yes.
I want to activate Unseen Passage.
Right on. I don't blame you.
I was going to say, Diana is actually going to activate Awe. So.
Cool.
I'd like to activate something. I'd like to.
Crying is a free action.
Oh, good. Okay, cool. I don't have to roll to weep. Instead of weeping, I'd like to activate Cloud Memory.
Ooh.
All right.
You have time?
I'd also like to whisper to myself a line that I always remind myself in times where I lose my patience. Thou shalt not harm any child of Cain, and shalt sacrifice thine own life for their sake. Cloud Memory to erase the last 5 minutes, right?
5 to 10.
5 to 10. Let's make it 5.
Whose memory are you clouding?
Aldrich's.
Roll your charisma and dominate. Aldrich can roll wits and resolve. And Aldrich, if you happen to have unswayable mind, that would help you here as well.
Can I roll? Can I spend a willpower?
Yes, you may.
I don't want to screw this up.
It's yours to spend.
Thank you.
While they're doing that, I'm fully invisible, right? With Unseen Passage.
Right? Yeah.
I want to go to the bag of books that had the scroll in it and get it.
Okay. You have it.
Okay. And I'm going to tuck it in my robes.
Out of curiosity,
Yes.
I saw all that, right?
Sure did. So did the gentleman you're holding, and now he's peed himself.
No. I saw Baldric's actions because I am seeing through Baldric currently. So I know Baldric has the scroll.
Ooh, you have Unseen Passage, but do you have, or excuse me,
Sharing the senses.
Yeah,
We're sharing senses
So,
still.
yes.
that's right.
Yeah, so I know Baldric took it.
Ooh, it's
Yeah.
so good. Okay.
I haven't turned it off.
No.
That's hilarious.
It's like this. It's like the meme with all the Spider-Mans pointing at each other.
Powers are funny. Come on.
3 successes.
2.
Wait. Yeah, 3.
2.
Yes.
You could spend a willpower and re-roll.
I would like to do that.
By all means. Yours to spend.
I think Grigory leans over to Lady Diana and says, "Do you wish for me to intervene in any way during this, or are you just letting it play out? What serves you best?"
See what
Total of
happens.
4.
Oh. You hear the words. They don't bother you. They don't
Oh, shit.
control or sway over you.
He tightens his hold and just kind of continues to lift you up the wall. And with each word he says, it's "fuck you," and it's just another smack into the wood.
All right.
Father Bastille,
Yes.
from the first attack, you take 2 superficial damage. And that is already rounded down by half.
Okay.
And the second attack?
For the second?
The subsequent slams are an additional 1 each.
I wish I'd said a longer sentence.
Okay.
This is good.
I have, I think it's time for the father to sin.
He hasn't already?
No. The father sins exactly when he means to.
Hot.
Going to use the Arms of Ahriman again. I'm more hungry. And after that second, I imagine that that Aldrich's mouth is probably frothing. The teeth glaring, your mouth wide
Fangs
open.
are out, yeah.
Yeah. Thirsty to take a bite of the Padre, or at the very least make him feel pain. If you were alive, you would probably be breathing heavily with your mouth agasp, right? So my shadow tendril will go in to that mouth and into your lungs and hold your unbeating heart.
We all can
I
see.
love that.
Please roll Wits in Oblivion.
Thank you.
We all can see this, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You wish you didn't.
Diana will have an action after this.
Okay. I want to do something while this is taking place from the shadows. I wanted to use Dementation again. Sorry, Heller.
6.
Ooh. Really quick, can I look to Lady Diana and just be like, is this your will?
Oh, the look on her face says absolutely not.
Cool.
Oh,
Can I? Would Extinguish Vitae do anything here?
Oh my god.
Oh, what?
I mean, it would make him hungrier.
Yeah.
Aldrich, you feel this. So you got 6 successes.
Yes.
It happens like he describes. An inky, black, cold substance fills your mouth and throat, and you feel it very quickly descend. It has your heart. Your beast starts to panic. Your first instinct is to bite down and try and destroy it. Do you want to try and do that?
Yeah, he was frenzying not long ago. I don't think he's all that reasonable at this point
Correct.
in time.
So, what's interesting about Kindred, the only aggravated damage that they can do without feral weapons is their teeth. See if you can bite down and destroy this tentacle.
What would you like me to roll? Strength and brawl?
Yeah, what's teeth? Strength and brawl is probably going to be it.
Okay. If I wanted to use prowess again, is that still activated
It's
for the
already
scene?
activated, correct.
It's already activated?
Yep.
All right. So we have
Chomp.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
My God.
Yes. Chomp, chomp, chomp.
What now? I don't know what happens when you.
They have about 3 hit points worth of damage that the tentacles can take, typically.
Yeah.
So she bites down, tears through it. The tentacle inside of you begins to shrivel and shrink until it's gone. And just the part of it that's outside your mouth now is hovering there.
Oh, I spit
As
it in
you
his
just-
face.
Terrible noodles.
Horrible
Okay.
noodles.
Baldric is using Dementation next, I believe.
Yeah.
I rolled my rouse check. I'm passed.
Ooh.
Roll this. All black die.
Oh, that's right. You just fed.
Mm-hmm.
And he sure did.
You know what? This is fun. I'm going to burn another willpower.
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
Five successes.
5 successes. Gee willikers. And you're targeting
The father.
the father.
Everyone pile on the Padre.
Padre,
Pile on the Padre.
Pile Padre.
you can give me a composure and intelligence roll.
Me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Intelligence and what? I'm sorry.
Composure.
Composure.
And he can't see me. Actually, no one can see me.
Except for Grigory.
3.
Can see what you're doing.
3.
Baldric, you had what, 5?
Yes.
Success goes to Baldric.
Perfect.
Baldric. What is happening?
At this moment, the father should be seeing what remained of his good life ending very slowly and painfully. And he should be able to actually feel that he is about to see the sun.
Do you want to use some personal experience with this one, Baldric?
Yes.
Because there's something that you've feared for quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to share that with Father Baldric?
I would, actually.
Well, sharing is caring.
Let me get that for you.
You just pull up this.
Yeah, let me pull this up for you.
I'm sorry, I'm so
Soap
evil.
opera. I'm like, what's going to happen next?
I shouldn't be smiling, but this is amazing.
A lupine appearing, tearing through his home. Bringing him closer and closer as he's trying to run away. He gets further and further to a corner. And he begins to see the sun peek through the windows, a place he's not supposed to see. And there's nowhere to run. And the lupine is dangerously close to ripping him into several different pieces.
Padre, I want to roll your willpower.
Yes, I would like to. Three.
You do not frenzy.
Damn
But
it.
you are completely incapacitated by this terror. It's a real fear as if it happened to you.
You're supposed to love the childer of Cain. We're salvation. I am salvation. I don't meet the sun. I am the sun!
You're an asshole, and he just drops you.
All right. At this point, Diana is going to step in. Activate awe.
You become the center of attention in this ship.
And she is going to growl. Those that have been around her have never heard her growl. You've seen her grumpy, but never this animalistic growl. And she says, "That's enough. Father, back down. Captain, my apologies. Your ship will be repaired on my dollar." Baldric, Gregory. We need to figure out what happened here instead of fighting amongst ourselves.
Like Gregory sort of just like waves this man in front of you, like I've got something.
What started this?
The sun!
Several men started a fight above board and then started to come here and attempt to steal from the captain, to which we, of course, prevented such action.
Yes.
I don't assume that I understand you did not know that they were here. So obviously you are going to protect your ship. Know that I do not see it as a personal offense that you reacted the way that you did.
If you wanted access to my ship and the goods that were destined for your care, all you needed to do was ask.
Unfortunately, we have had things delivered to us before in such a manner as not being informed as to what it was, in an attempt of political assassination. I had to take care and be careful to protect Genoa, as well as the interests of Constantinople.
I understand and applaud your paranoia. And as he says this, he's straightening that stack of books, and anything that's in a sack, he's taking out and arranging and going through the contents of that chest and making sure that everything is there.
I would like to make sure this is moved immediately into a safe location where we can take inventory closer. But obviously I trust your judgment as to what is here, what may be missing.
Does Keats notice anything missing from this sort of more cursory?
Not from the hold, and you suspect that Percival and your crew would have gathered the rest that were above deck back to the location where it was being offloaded.
They take their work seriously.
They sure do.
I will make all the proper arrangements to make sure that this is safe in our city. They know in Constantinople that this stuff is here. So I'm expecting for there to be pushback and another act of aggression and insurgents, in which case I will inform Prince Enrique immediately of this so that we can take precautions to protect it.
I agree there will be more. I hope that this is a place that can be safe.
The individual that we are looking for in Constantinople is Magnus.
Given that Aldrich came from Constantinople to here, does that name mean anything to him?
He is the head of the Orthodox Christian Church with the La Sombra. He's not quite the head of the Scion family for the La Sombra, but he's very high up there. He's close enough where he can get into where Michael even rests in torpor, unguarded. He's someone of immense influence, power, and taking someone like that down would require either a lot of clandestine work or approval from above. But regardless, this is a serious offense that you know you have some proof of, you have witnesses, and you have something to go on.
Yeah, Keats looks a little disgusted and says La Sombra, ensconced in the Orthodox Church, and he just sort of spits towards Father Bastille because he saw the shadow tentacle. He sure as hell knows what he is.
You would also suspect that Gregory is that as well.
Would. But Gregory didn't attack him.
Touche.
Nor did he be mean to books.
This is true.
True statement.
So, we have a name. And I know he's in Constantinople currently. Captain, this man, Gregory, Gregory has the last person, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He is yours to deal with as he invaded your ship. It is your law here. So you may deal with him as you please. I have gotten information from some of the others that I have killed outside. If you wish to gather more information, obviously I can help with that. Or any of my compatriots or cohorts. She looks at Father Bestial pointedly. Well, that one may help out too.
If I may.
Father, I am not done speaking to you yet. You may not. Father, you've gravely offended a visitor to our domain and someone who is here on a diplomatic mission. I do expect you to make reprimands to my satisfactory.
Oh, yes. The self-flagellation will begin on the morrow.
No, that is not the reprimands that are satisfactory to me.
Now, what would be satisfactory to you, my lady, while I was viciously attacked after protecting your property? I would like to know what would be sufficient enough for you, my lady.
Aldrich, what offense has Father Bestial done to you?
He's entered my vessel without my consent and manhandled items that are meant to be in your keeping. They are not your possessions, but they are in your keeping under your protection, and they were handled in such a way as they may have been damaged.
Father Bestial entering was under my orders to protect this if should anything go wrong. Therefore, I will take the blame for that one. However, his treatment of the property here I hope we can figure out a way to rectify.
I would like to spend some time instructing him in the proper care of such manuscripts. This can take much time, and he will assist me in mending any items that have been injured.
I actually think that Father Bestial could benefit from that as well.
Yes, I agree. I have a fondness for these books since I have taken out one.
And you will not be speaking during this time.
Oh, excuse me. The men that I've stopped stealing your books has created such fondness. I speak out of turn. Please continue.
So, I do not wish to create any animosity, and I do hope that Gregory and Father Bestial, you understand, we're acting under my orders, and they are very loyal to me. And I do take responsibility for them entering your ship without your permission. So for that, I like to offer you a boon, a favor that you may call upon at any point.
He bows his head and says, I accept your apology and offer of your favor. You must be quite a lady to inspire such loyalty.
I take the protection of what I consider mine, both city items and individuals very personally. And while there has been some misunderstandings, I do hope that we can work to smooth those over so that we can, all of us, move forward to figure out what is going on in Constantinople and hopefully protect that which has come into this domain.
I find that agreeable. I imagine it will be myself and my ship that brings you back to Constantinople. And
Father, do you find that agreeable as well?
I find that respect is something that is gravely important. And perhaps I have disrespected something that is important to you, stranger. And so for that, you have been harmed. So the harming of me is understandable. These books are important to you. They have value, far more than just the paper they are written on. And a small part of me respects the orthodoxy that you possess with the written word.
that part of you will grow by the time our voyage is ended and you've learned the proper care of such items.
Yes, perhaps. If it will suffice, Lady Justice, then that is fine with me. I don't feel it to be a proper enough punishment, so I will ensure that I do my own reading and my own prayer. And I did not say that I will flagellate in vain or in jest. I mean it. I will. And this won't happen again, Aldrich. Baldric. You will have to teach me that trick. And I'm going to do something, if I may, storyteller. I'd like to use shadow perspective. And I don't know how far I can reach, or how vast, or how many of my resources or connections, allies, if you catch my meaning.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to reach out to all of them.
Okay.
I'm still hungry, but not that hungry. And I would like to communicate the books. Burn them all.
There's a small shadow in the corner of the room, hiding behind a simple spiderweb that is more than a shadow. It's two places at once. Not far from the outskirts of the city of Genoa, there is a man in a simple camp with a torch, campfire going, and a little tent. And as the flames flicker from the campfire, casting a shadow on the trees and everything behind, the wall of his tent, the shadow becomes thicker. And he hears your instruction. From it, he douses his campfire, gets on his horse, it rides to a place unknown, carrying a disturbing message. And Baldric,
I wanted to activate premonition.
good call.
Very good
Give me a
call.
rouse check.
I rolled it and I passed.
Even better.
Yep. I'm just not getting good rolls tonight. I'm gonna burn this one more willpower.
All right.
Do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Any way I can assist Baldric or no?
You know, you're sharing the senses,
Yeah.
and he's about to see something. Give me a wits and awareness or insight.
Ew. What's an awareness or what's insight? All right.
Oh. 4.
4. Okay.
4 as well.
I'm still hiding. I'm still in the shackles. No one can see me.
Yep.
So when you were talking to me, Father, you were just shouting in the air, but I got there.
Yeah, oops.
So I'm going to
Yelling at
count.
walls.
I'm going to count half of Grigory's roll
Okay.
as a boost to your abilities. You don't know if you've ever done this before. You never intended for that to happen, but you're sharing the senses with somebody else, and it's providing you better clarity.
We just BFFs.
You've got your issues from your clan. However, it's providing a little bit more stability as you peer into this other place. And you got 6 successes.
Mm-hmm.
What is it you were trying to see?
What's going to happen next? Once we leave this area.
Okay. You see a family, Grigory's family, with tears rolling down their faces as Grigory says goodbye. And they don't know when Grigory will return. You see Diana on a ship to a strange land with many familiar faces. You see a man riding horseback in the night, worried, with a face white as a ghost. And it looks as though he's traveling to Venice to meet with someone who terrifies him. And there's a word that repeats in your head that doesn't make any sense about this man, but sometimes it happens with your visions. In this case, you hear the word narcissist, narcissist, narcissist over and over. And you're not sure if that's the man's name, or if he's a narcissist, or if it's a clue. But it's there. You see a woman in a small home, in a place that doesn't look familiar to you. But as you peer out the window, you see the Hagia Sophia. And as you focus on her face, you see on her aura, almost as if a name was spelled above her head, and it says, Gabrielle of Genoa. And your visions come back to a close.
And I'm going to appear for them.
So I saw all this as well.
Yeah.
Nice. Did I recognize that man on that horse?
Give me a, let's see, intelligence and investigation.
That's very fun. Yeah, I'm gonna burn a willpower and reroll.
Okay. Baldric, you can do the same. If you like.
Again,
Yeah.
intelligence and what?
Investigation.
This is not my strong suit.
Baldric, you can actually roll intelligence and insight if that helps you better.
Insight.
5 successes.
6.
6 successes. You think about it. The face is familiar. But what he's wearing is even more familiar. He's dressed like a priest that would have been seen in Father Bastile's entourage.
I think Gregory smiles and looks at the father and says, "Oh, Father, what do you know of narcissists?"
I know that he looked at something far too long, and it was his undoing.
I got critical success.
You go what?
I got a critical success.
Narcissist shortens in your mind, and it becomes Narcissus. The Prince of Venice.
Okay.
The seat of the Latin Empire. Not the Byzantium Empire, which Genoa's allied with.
Oh, Father.
Yes, my child.
You are such an interesting man. I look forward to journeying with you to see.
And I look forward to learning from you as well.
Oh, I can only hope to be so lucky to learn from you, Father.
Baldric,
Yes.
go beeline to the father and get all of his personal space and just kind of, "Oh, Father, who art thou really?"
I am.
You want to answer that now, or do you want to answer that next session?
Part 2.
Let's leave it on a
answer that.
cliffhanger.
Let's end that next session. Father Bastille looks right into your eyes, very fascinated, and not aggressive, and not defensive, but curious.
Okay.
Nice.
And at that, we will end this first step in hopefully what will be many more chronicles with our lovely cast of friends that I actually picked to play in this, and I'm so happy that they were all able to make it. This is Vampire 5th Edition Dark Ages for SAFeCon. But it will continue, scheduling allowed, into as many sessions as these lovely people want, because I have plenty of material. So thank you everyone for playing in this. Your characters are freaking awesome, and I had a great time. Thank you everyone for watching and for donating, being part of SAFeCon with Gehenna Gaming.
How did we do? Yeah, what's our total?
What's the total?
What is our total?
What is
Oh, our total. I'm like total what? I'm so like keyed into Dark Ages right now. Sorry. This was an amazing game. I enjoyed playing with you guys so much, and it was very intense and a little PvP, which is very freaking cool. And I kind of was hoping you guys were going to kill me, but I got away with it. But
For
you guys,
now,
you guys are so much better players than I.
Mark, don't even.
But let's look at the numbers. Save Against Fear, SAFeCon 2020 is now officially at an end as of the end of this stream. We have so far ran so many games. We had so many virtual game sessions going on in the background. We had panels for both fans of tabletop RPG, but also for psychologists, psychiatrists, and therapists to understand the proper use of tabletop therapy.
And educators.
And educators as well, because it's not just mental health, it's also social health. And there's something very powerful about this idea that was seeded into our heads early on when we first heard about Bodhana Group, and they do amazing work, and they're awesome people. The number that we have officially raised is $3,160 on our Tiltify through these streams. So thank you so much to all of you who donated. You guys are amazing.
Yeah,
every single one of you.
best.
This is such a personal. I'm not even going to go into the details of how personal, how important this particular cause is, but it means a lot to all of us on stream, all of us at Gehenna Gaming, and honestly, the entire tabletop universe at large. So thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Top donation is by Zach Rules.
Ooh, Zach does rule, apparently.
Zach does rule.
Zach.
Thank you so much.
Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
Oh my God. And I hope that everybody enjoyed this game. This is, I thank you, all of you
so
players. This was great. And Rick, thank you for running this, man.
My pleasure.
Rick.
I love
And Rick,
RPGs.
hey, great time doing like technical stuff. First time, like barely any issues. Just
Right?
No issues.
Yeah.
We did it.
No issues. Yeah, we did it.
I mean, I guess people could hear me before we started, which I don't
But
care.
I mean, who doesn't want more Rick voice in their life?
Oh, thank you.
It is a nice voice.
I'm gonna
It's
say
a
it.
very nice voice.
I'm going to set up my ASMR OnlyFans account now.
SMR OnlyFans, I will subscribe.
Yeah.
He has, he does have an OnlyFans.
I think you set it up, actually, as a joke.
I did.
A link.
Wait,
It's onlyfans.com/DeafMalkavian.
It's not just porn, everybody.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I do want to do something very important though, because this was an extremely intense game, and sometimes bleed happens. So I want to check in on everybody. First of all, I think all of you are amazing. Father is not a great person.
Are you okay? I'm so sorry for beating up on you.
Yeah, I
fine.
felt bad, but it had to happen.
Don't feel bad at all. He deserved it. But I want to make sure everybody here had a good time and everybody here is cool.
That was so much fun.
No bleed.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
So good. I can't
Only
wait to-
bleed is good time bleed.
It's true.
Yes.
Right.
I think I'm having a hard time picking my favorite character because you guys are all so good and your characters are amazing, and I hope that we do this again.
So I'm going to have to make some more NPC... no, sorry, not NPCs. I got plenty of them. PC pre-gens, because what's cool about this game is we can have pop-in people whenever, really. It's a Merchant Republic.
Nice.
You guys could be in Constantinople at your thing. I could have the other players who have been in this game come back and do something set actually in Genoa at the same time. So plenty of possibilities. I love to play with people, especially people as wonderful as yourselves. So it'd be good to get people who have played with us back, like Mike, Nick, Francia.
yes.
Gosh, it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Ian with his gangrel. I have his gangrel set aside and tucked in a nice little nook cranny where no one else will play him because that's Ian.
That's an Ian baby.
It's an Ian baby.
Dixie and Jacob's character, Iffy's character. If this is actually a continued thing, so there's two other Dark Ages games that are all connected in this line. So go back and check those on our youtube.com/Gehenna Gaming.
I mean, if we could get Alexander Ward back, that'd be awesome.
It's true. I would step
Wow.
out.
The Spider-Man again, just
Yeah, I would quickly move aside for him. He is an amazing actor, an amazing role player, and a goddamn cool person.
Yeah,
Oh, Big Dad demands a setite.
there is a Setite.
Sit tight.
that's
If he played the Setite.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't he?
Yeah.
He was good.
Yeah.
Baltic likes all of you, kindred.
There's a very good Sedite in Constantinople that I hope you all meet.
Ooh.
No step on snack.
No step on snake.
Step on snack.
No step on Sedite.
Stepan Sedite.
Only good snacks
Tight.
and poops.
So while... Go ahead.
No, I was saying I think there is a no step on Sedite shirt that I don't know. I don't remember if we have it live or not.
I am pulling
Yes,
up your.
there is, because I have it.
We do. We have a no set time, Joe. I've seen.
I own it. It's just I haven't worn it because the Gadsden flag's been kind of like a weird thing lately, so...
Yeah.
It's kind of in...
I made
You know
that.
where you could see it? You could see it most often on Monday nights when Aid wears our lovely shirts. Because on Monday this week there's going to be this wonderful show. What do we
Tell
got
us about
coming
it.
on the barrel?
What's going on
Monday?
Monday?
There's going to be a wonderful show, Ace Adventures,
Ooh.
run by the best Brian Lebrage. Their own unique game where you fight those that are giving out oppression to others as cool pilots. And it's going to feature multiple members of the typical Monday GG cast.
Sweet.
All the
Gehenna
honey
Gaming never
buns.
stops. All the honey buns. GG never stops. It's Sunday. We're right into Monday.
Hell yeah! It starts tomorrow. It's Sunday already. What happened to
Yep.
the weekend? It went way too fast.
Right?
It's a
all
con
gone.
weekend.
Con
Just wait for
weekend.
the con drop tomorrow, because that's still a thing for online
Oh,
community.
No con drop tomorrow. Just go into Ace Adventure and enjoy more and keep it.
Right?
It's true. I also want to give other people opportunity to plug stuff too.
Yes.
Whatever. I plug it. Go for it. Talk
Chris
about what you
Mazur
got.
is a freelance writer. She has
I
written
am.
for some fantastic V5 books. She's written for The Black Void. She's written for all kinds of nice things that I really enjoy. So you can find her at...
thegeekypanda.com or Body and Soul 152 on all social media.
Very nice. DJ Toreador.
Yes.
Plug yourself.
Let's see. For Onyx Path, there is the Ghost Hunters Kickstarter
Yes.
that is on right now, and it
That's
is
cool.
amazing.
Ooh.
Go check it out.
Yes.
I am involved with Darker Days Radio, who is also involved with Gehenna Gaming. We
Sure
do
are.
a stream every other Sunday.
Yeah,
Um,
DDR and GG forever.
we were doing Wrath and Glory. We were moving on to Warhammer Fantasy, where we get to basically play very poor adventurers, trying
Right
to make our way through the Warhammer world. That's going to be great. But you can also see you can also listen to our podcasts as well. Trying to think of anything else. Red Opera isn't on backer kit yet, just right?
Correct. No, not yet.
Okay.
You sure?
Pretty
I
sure.
don't know.
I'm pretty sure it went live almost immediately.
The backer kit?
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't know if it's live. Parts of it are though.
Okay. Yeah. Red Opera, which Gehenna Gaming, both Rick and Mark are involved in, and Ian as well, and myself. So, but you can go to the Kickstarter and get information from that, or on their Facebook group, or on their Twitter.
Yes, we are writing a fun little scenario.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I get to use some stuff from your writing.
Let's see.
My section.
Do I have anything to plug? No, I'm just Joe. I play Baldric. Also, if you see me in other streams, I play Marvello, the lovable, kooky, tick-tocking seer Malkavian.
Hey, is there something you do on Thursdays? Maybe currently, just
Yes,
Please do.
I
off the top
do.
of my head. Maybe
I
don't know. I
do.
feel like your face. I've seen it somewhere.
I do play the game of Dreamspeak. On Gehenna Gaming on Thursdays, I play Marvin Horatio, the hawker, who sells caviar and pornography and intelligence.
That's amazing.
Right on.
Good spread.
Yeah, I mean, sell a little hustler, sell some little caviar. It works.
Classy.
Storyteller. I'm also a storyteller for my own home chronicle.
Yes, you are.
Vampire the Masquerade. I'm going to start holding interviews for
Ooh.
person who possibly want to be a permanent character, as well as special characters that want to come in, because the story has boom shaked rock since I've been telling it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
That is
in
the
on
thing.
that.
Yeah, if you want, DM me. I am Nola _ NOLA _ Fanger, like Fangbanger from True Blood. And on Twitter. And yeah, just hit me up in the DMs. Keep it rated R. I'm kidding.
Oh, we adore you.
That's it. I love you all. Family. Also,
Okay.
shout out to Carry On Comfort Studios. Yes, us Alabama people have to stick together. So
Yeah, hell yeah,
Yeah.
brother
Wes.
Wes.
Wes is the best.
Wes is the. Oh, I like that.
Wes is the best.
Wes is the
Market
best.
that.
I'm just a poet or something. Kayla, where can people find you?
Oh, I don't really do much other than I enjoy playing games with GG. You can usually find me in their Discord where I am Sweet Summer Child because apparently I'm the babbiest in almost every group I ever play in.
What's wrong with that?
No, nothing wrong. I just say I don't understand your references.
Aldrich, our book-loving sea captain.
Yeah,
Hello.
I am Rosie, and you might see me as regular size mom in the Gehenna Gaming chat or
Boop, boop.
in the chat for Monday Night Monster Hearts. It's a lot of fun. And also, you should check out Brother Wes's Iron City starting on the 25th, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
It's going to be amazing. It features really cool people, including mysterious characters played by Ian and Aid, fellow GGers.
Fun.
And that's on
That Ian's
Car-
playing a mysterious character.
Yeah. Carrier Comfort
that's-
Studios.
Yeah, that's
Carrying
on Carrying
Comfort
Comfort Studios.
Studios.
That's not our channel. It's on Carrying Comfort Studios. So make sure you go over to twitch.tv/Carrying Comfort Studios. Subscribe.
Yeah,
Don't
Wes
just
is
follow. Subscribe to Wes.
subscribe. He does amazing stuff. We did a community watch night of the original Fright Night that had me tickled to tears the
It's
other
so
day. And yeah, Wes is awesome. 12 out of 10.
He's doing
Yes,
that all
Wes.
night, right? 30 days of Halloween.
Mhm.
He's got
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
sorts of
Yep.
horror films that he's doing watch parties with. He's
Yes.
fantastic.
Wes.
Cool things.
And at some point, myself and Big Dad will be doing Werewolf with him.
Yes.
Ooh.
Not sure exactly when that's going to happen.
I'm
Yeah.
excited. I want to see that.
Yeah.
So bringing it back to the convention with Bodhana Group,
Woo.
they're on all social media. Please go check them out. They also have stuff that is up on DriveThruRPG. So you can actually pick up a guide on how to incorporate games as mental and social health tools.
Wow.
And how that actually works. But they make it very accessible, so you can actually incorporate some safety mechanics to help support your players as a GM.
That's
I like that.
awesome. Yeah.
I need that.
Yes,
And I would
and
be
there's more coming out for them too. So definitely keep watch on that. And I know that we're going to be doing a bunch of other like trainings and panels and stuff throughout the year. That's not connected to a convention, but just on Bodhana groups themselves. So please follow them on social media if you do not. They are fantastic people.
Yeah.
And this convention is the start. It kicks off a one whole year of raising money for tabletop, therapeutic tabletop. So there are multiple opportunities all year long to continue to donate to Bodhana Group. All of the proceeds go to such a good cause. And I would actually be remiss if I didn't mention Legendary Pants, who sponsored Save Against Fear Convention 2020. They are fantastic, so definitely go follow them on social media, go check them out. And they are amazing just to sponsor this. So if Bodhana Group is doing something, anybody affiliated or associated with them is pretty dope in my book. So
Yeah,
definitely
good
check
people.
them out.
Oh, yay. I'm doing stuff with them. So
Yeah.
Yay.
Marchosius, show yourself.
I'm Marcosius. It's Marchosius, 5s instead of S's on Twitter. Follow Gehenna Gaming, but listen to our podcast. We've got a bunch of episodes out. I forgot to post an episode this week because of the convention, but there's a bunch of really cool interviews and awesome deep dive discussions about tabletop. We just recently
We got a good one coming up with Phil Brocado.
Oh yeah, that was so good.
Oh boy, that's
Oh
awesome.
my god. Yeah. Yeah, definitely up there. That's coming out. Screw it, next week. And then, yeah, just follow all the cool Gehenna Gaming stuff and tell your friends. Tell everybody about it.
Yourself into the Discord. It is a place full of some of the nicest people I have ever met.
Yeah, our Discord community is amazing, very close knit. I like to tell everybody that it is the least toxic community in the Discord.
Oh, thank God.
They're too good for me.
Yeah. Oh, same. Fucking hard same. They're all wonderful. But yeah, tell everybody about Gehenna Gaming. We don't really spend any money on advertising ourselves. We do this stuff. So word of mouth gets us pretty far. So if you have friends that like tabletop, let people know about the masters of horror and tabletop gaming.
Because we want to play with them in these wonderful games that we stream. So I'm going to work on getting a schedule set up with these fine players and hopefully continuing this story of Dark Ages for everyone to enjoy. Myself included, I had a blast. I am Rick, Def Malkavian. You can find me Rick Wheeler or Def Malkavian. You search those two things and probably going to pop up somewhere like a rash or something. There's no cream for me, but anyway. I'm a little bit of a joker, and I love to make fun of myself, so that's all well and good. But thank you for joining us. Hope we had some laughs, some thrills, some crazy
spills.
Intrigue and spills. A little bit of you spilled on the boat.
Yeah.
So
that's going to be healing for a while.
Stay tuned for future announcements for follow-up games to this wonderful chronicle with these great people, and we will see you then. Goodbye, everybody.
Good evening, Kindred.
Cool.
Whoa.
Wow.
That was fun.